What's going on, Hancock County? Another episode of Inside Hancock County with Mitch Gibson. Got a fun episode for you today. First off, not only do you guys see a familiar face here, but it's IHSA basketball season opening day or opening night, however you want to call it. I know in baseball we call it opening night. Is it opening day? Opening night?
Game day.
Game day. It's game day. Before we get started, first off, I want to thank RE/MAX Realty Groups for the opportunity to have the studio. We're not in the studio today. With it being early morning and with the pandemic we got going on, trying to limit the amount of times we're going inside that studio. So we're going virtual today, out and about like we always have been. So I appreciate RE/MAX for the opportunity to have a studio in there. Also, the Hope House Shelter, Homeless Shelter, and Hope House Thrift Store. Thank you for jumping on as a show sponsor. Please go check out the thrift store for any details and deals that they've got going on inside the thrift store, especially going into the holiday season. So without further ado, I want to interview my next guest and introduce him. It's his second year with the Greenfield-Central Basketball program as the varsity head coach, coming to us from Beech Grove, where he went to high school, and then went to Avon, and now he's here in Cougar Country, taking in a big role as the varsity head coach and also your teacher, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess kind of get us started, Coach Luke Meredith, appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on the show today. I know it was kind of last second. But I know I've got some sports guests coming up in the next couple of weeks, kind of changing the show up a little bit for the next couple of weeks, especially with off season, coming into play and new seasons coming in. So I guess to kind of get started, give us a little background about yourself. I guess go back 20, 25 years from now and kind of tell us where you were and what kind of led you and brought you to the position that you're at now here at Greenfield.
Right. Grew up in Beech Grove, south side of Indy. Always loved the game, always loved basketball, big Michael Jordan fan. I had a coach who's now the head coach at Speedway. His name's Chuck Bennett, was a mentor for me. He was somebody growing up that I wanted to be. So ever since then, I thought I wanted to be a teacher and a coach. So Chuck Bennett is one of my role models and one of the reasons why I'm still a coach. That's why Speedway was on our schedule last year. It's funny the way life works, because that was actually our first win and my first career win as a head coach was against Speedway here against Chuck Bennett. We played them again at their place this year. Graduated in 01, then I went to Ball State, graduated in 05, elementary education degree, and was part of the women's basketball scout team. So that gave me another opportunity to kind of see, hey, this is what Kent State's doing, this is what Miami, Ohio, and other teams of the MAC going in and scrimmaging against the girls, just kind of seeing and learning and growing. I thought that helped me in my development as a coach. As soon as I graduated, I was looking to figure out where I was going to teach and coach, and it just ended up, I was at Ben Davis. I was the freshman head coach at Ben Davis, and the next year I was the freshman head coach. Moved over to Avon because that's where I was teaching at the time, and kind of worked my way up through the ranks. I was in middle school, I was a freshman head coach, I was a JV assistant, I was a varsity assistant, and great community. Unfortunately, I didn't get an opportunity there. I thought I was going to be the head coach, and Final Three, and they decided, coincidentally, at Final Three was Jeff Holloway, Michael Lewis, and me. So, and Michael Lewis was at Greenfield at the time. But it's funny the way things work out. And I got an opportunity at Greenfield after at Avon we won the sectional title in 2018, and couldn't be happier to be here. Great community, great kids. I love everything about it. Being the underdog and people telling you that you can't do it and you're this and you're that. That's me. I've been an underdog my whole life, and so I think I fit in really well here.
I would have to agree, and I think too what really led me to want to get you on the show, not only just from seeing the way that you coach, because I think the way that you coach, and with me being a travel baseball coach, and hopefully one day be able to coach the high school level, maybe even higher than that if the opportunity brings me. A lot of the reason why we coach as coaches is not just to win basketball games. Right. It's to develop the players into being not only good basketball players but great human beings and young men. And I see that with your group that you've had last year and the group that you've got this year. Not only do they just glue themselves together and hang out, and they got that family mentality, but you can just tell they've got bright futures, and it all comes from that leader.
Right.
And I think that going down the line with the previous coaches that you've coached under, or whether it was your high school coach that kind of led you down the path of wanting to coach, your passion and energy for the game of basketball is unmatched. And that's, I think, the first time I ever watched you coach. I think you guys were at Mooresville, and I'm sitting there with my feet kicked back, and I go, this dude has energy, and I thought I do. I mean, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, and I can go.
Right.
But that's what I love about you and your energy that leads you towards being a basketball coach. Has that energy always been there? I mean, has that something that you've grown over time, or is that just because of the passion that you have for the game of basketball and making players better as human beings that gives you that?
No, yeah, I think it's just something that's always been there. It's kind of been my spirit and who I was. I was getting in trouble as a little kid. My son Carter, he has ADHD and he kind of has that never stop. He always gets in trouble a lot, and he plays the same way that I play. So I see a lot of similarities there. So I'm sure it's hereditary. But for me, like I have this chip on my shoulder to prove myself. So I talked about how I didn't get an opportunity at Avon, or I just talked about finding ways of putting a chip on my shoulder and then coming here. I do feel like building a basketball program, it's kind of like growing and building your own small business. So I tried to come up with something that would, and I think juice has become synonymous with our boys basketball program, but we talk about bringing the juice. And I specifically remember we put Juice and Compete on the back of our shooting shirts, and there was one of our road games last year. It was the beginning of the year, and we kept hearing it, people making fun of it, people talking about juice, that's crazy. But now you say juice, and now you think energy, you think enthusiasm, you think the boys basketball program. So, for me, my biggest thing, I want our kids to reflect that and just play hard. I said this all the time, and I'm being real. Like, quite frankly, we don't have the talent of a New Pal, of a Mount Vernon, of these teams that we're expected to compete against and beat in the sectional and in the conference. So for us, we got to play harder. And so how do I get kids to buy in? I think we have to create that family culture, and we have to play with juice. So that has been a challenge this year, because last year it was senior laden and we had kids that were looking for a leader that would get on them and push them. And this year everybody's moving into a new role, and now they think they're working hard, but we don't know what working hard is. So for me, I've tried to bring in former players more so this year. Brady Mundell's already came and talked to the team. I had a former player at Avon. I had a guest speaker that I had known from Ball State, but it's just more than 4 quarters. Building relationships with your players. If they know that you can trust them, if they know that you're going to give everything that you have, they're going to run through a wall for you. So first, building a culture, and then staying with that culture, because that's what successful programs do. And then second of all, having an identity. So our identity is going to be offensively, driveway, threes, and paint touches, and then just playing harder than your opponent. We're going to be undersized, we're going to be undermanned, but who are we? You pay your $5, $6 to come here, or watch it on YouTube live now with the unfortunate circumstances, but what are you going to see? What is the product on the floor from Greenfield-Central Boys Basketball Program? And it's just going to be play hard and outwork the opponent if we want to give ourselves a chance.
Dude, I freaking love it. I sit here and talk, listening to you talk. Even if we're on camera right now, we weren't. Dude, I literally am. If I had ever played basketball before in my life, I'm ready to pick up basketball and go. Okay. And it just comes from that leader mentality. And looking back on, I was driving here this morning, and I was kind of thinking, I'm like, okay, because I fly by the seat of my pants when I do these interviews. It's kind of running through my mind, like, what kind of question am I going to ask this guy? I feel like he's going to talk more than me. I feel like he's going to talk faster than me. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. And I'm sitting there and I go, this dude loves Michael Jordan. Right. And, I think I follow you on Facebook or whatnot, and I see you post stuff of, whether it's Jordan shoes as you're wearing, or whether it's you're watching that Michael Jordan documentary that they put out. What does Michael Jordan mean to you, and how does that resonate to your life? Because I think we all try to either mimic somebody that we look up to as a professional athlete or as a mentor. Well, the flip in somebody that's going to be give you the craft and the mentality, the same game that they're playing as a professional athlete. So what is it that Michael Jordan does it for you? Right.
Well, I think just growing up, he was the best. Everybody likes the best. Like, my boys like Steph Curry, and he went on a run there. We're not going to bring up LeBron James, but we bring that up just. You want to look up to someone. And then as I got older and I started realizing, why do I like Michael Jordan? Besides the fact that I like the Jays, besides that I know that he's won 6 NBA championships, it was his drive. And so I kind of feel like I want to have that drive. Eric Thomas talks about what's in you. I don't want what you have. I want what's in you that's allowing you to have that drive. So for me, we talk about, why do you have this energy? Why do you have this? I came here. I didn't know anybody at Greenfield. I had to look it up on Waze and MapQuest, trying to figure out where the heck how to get here. But I'm putting it all on the line for my family. If it doesn't work out here, we're not living here. So that's a big on my shoulders to make sure, hey, this is what I have to do. And so that does motivate me, certainly, but just his drive for the game and what he was attention detail oriented, and he didn't care who it was or what was in his way. He was going to make it happen. You give him Will Perdue, Stacey King, whoever, Tony Kukoc, he was going to make it happen. He was going to win an NBA championship. Heck, you put him on the Hornets this year, they won 50 games. But anyways, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. And so his drive and what he had inside of him, even watching The Last Dance and seeing things I didn't know about him, make me think, okay, that's it. That's what I would strive to be. Maybe not as big as a jerk as he is. However, just that drive, why do you want to be successful?
Right, I think too, just like the greatness, just striving. I had my college baseball coach, Coach Rich Maloney, who's still at Ball State to this time, and is doing a phenomenal job. And one of the things too, the first day I stepped into the locker room, we have this, it's called the Cardinal Way Book, and it's how we're going to handle ourselves on the field, how we're going to handle ourselves off the field, how we're going to give back to the community, how we're going to, once we graduate, how we're going to give back to the community, in all these different ways. But the first thing that was on the paper was, no matter what we're doing, we're going to strive for greatness.
Right.
I actually had a baseball glove made my freshman year of college that had greatness on the side of it, because someone said something that has resonated to you, and I think that's where probably a lot of your kids get. And you go back to the word "bring the juice." I do remember a lot of people talking about that. Oh, what's this? Haha, kind of laughing, LOL. And you guys go out and did what you did last year, which I was impressed. Whether you won 10 games, 20 games, whatever it was, no matter what, you don't really care about the win and loss column at that point in time, because you're developing that culture, you're developing a new legacy. I think I saw it on a post when you had one of your buddies from Ball State come out and speak. I think on the big whiteboard behind it says, leave a legacy. I love that. So can you go into that a little bit, that speaker that you had?
Yeah.
We kind of got a Ball State circle going on here. So your buddy that came and spoke, kind of what was that about?
Well, he was my fraternity brother. I was a SIGEP, and he now is trying to be a motivational speaker, and he travels around the nation. And so he kind of reached out and said, hey, whenever you get your own program, I want to come talk. I said, all right, bet. So last year, we kind of talked back and forth, and then this year we hammered home. He was actually going to speak at Ball State the day after to some type of educational business class. And so he came here the night before, and it was also, he talked about unlocking greatness. He talked about a lot of great things. I like the kids to be able to hear from someone else. Sorry, my voice is going out. I've been yelling at the boys. I got to get my coach's voice back. And he was phenomenal. But, we talk about, once again, that's part of the relationships of, I've known this man for 10 years, and he's going to travel all the way from Knoxville, Tennessee to speak to little old Coach Meredith's Greenfield team. So that's what it's all about. So that meant a lot to me, and I thought the kids are going to use that. And he left a key with all of us. So I'm big on, you talk about legacy. You look in here, and I know you guys can't see the full locker room, but, we got everything. We got these pictures, and I talk about, with kids, this is what we're striving for. Like, I have this picture out there, Westfield. Like, these are the moments that you're going to remember as a high school athlete. And you don't get to this without, playing with juice, playing hard, getting it done 4 to 6 or 6 to 8, because I'm high maintenance and I don't like practicing in the field house. But there's certain things here that you see that these kids, like, this is awesome. And this is what it's all about. This is why you coach. And this is their legacy. I mean, I left the card up there for Westfield when we beat Westfield. We were picked to lose by 18 points on a Saturday in February at home, and we beat them in overtime. So we had no business of beating Westfield. We had no business of beating Mount Vernon last year. We had no business of beating Connersville last year for the first time in a really long time for Greenfield. So, I know I'm kind of getting away from the subject here, but the things that I want the kids to physically see this. Okay, you want this, you win in the dark. The foundation of success occurs when no one else is watching. So let's get it done out here 4 to 6 so we can enjoy and have the moments that we're going to have. So I want them to see that, and this is their legacy. That was last year's group. The Mundell boys, Cochran, Antic, Wheeler, and that whole squad, that was their legacy. So what's going to be your legacy here? And so part of what John Darling talked about was unlocking your potential, and don't let people tell you that you can't do something. He brought up a lot of awesome stuff. Like Will Smith gets on a treadmill and he always says, like, hey, first one to quit loses. He goes, well, I'm either going to die trying or I'm going to beat you. You're getting off of this treadmill first. And so that mentality, obviously at the high school level, we're not talking about dying trying, but that mentality of, I got a dog. Like, where's that dog in you? And we tip the ball up at 7:30 tonight against Guerin Catholic. What's up? And so that's what I'm trying to bring to the table with these little quotes and these little things. And I want them to see it, visualize it, and then it's on you. Let's go. Let's do it.
Dude, I freaking love it. I swear, seriously. And I think you go back to this picture right here. Is that the Mount Vernon one?
I believe so, yes.
That picture right there just says it all. And I think, too, what I like what you do, and I kind of do the same thing, is you try to put in front of your eyes for yourself or for your players or for your family, and let you know, hey, this is the goals. I mean, this is when you step foot in the locker room or you step foot on the campus here, this is what you're held accountable to.
Yes.
And I think the accountability aspect is probably something that has been tough to probably regroup for the kids, but it starts with you. Coming into the organization or coming into Greenfield as not knowing what the heck's going on. not knowing what you got, not knowing where it's even at, to even the locker room changes that you've made with some of the signage and stuff like that. Obviously, adversity is kind of a little bit of a tough aspect to get through, and I don't think you can be successful without going through that adversity. So, has there been any time through your career where adversity has hit you to make you have to work harder or to push through that to get you into your shoes now?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, yeah, Jim Cobb, you talk about a local guy, he lives in my neighborhood. He did this for cost, so it's phenomenal.
That's
We wouldn't have
awesome.
been able to afford it, All-American Graphics. Second of all, when I got this opportunity from Jason Carey, I knew that I was going to give everything that I had, and so I feel like it's almost to a fault. I try to be the best husband, the best dad that I can be, but all I do go home is thinking about basketball. And this morning I woke up at 6 a.m. and I was thinking about what we were going to run first play. But you talk about adversity. Adversity makes a man, or it introduces the man to himself.
Right.
I truthfully, I thought I was going to get the Avon job, and I was kind of tore up that I didn't get it. I had been there for 10, 12 years. The head coach, Jason Young, at the time, went to the principal and said, he's your guy. I thought I killed it in the interview, and I thought that I wasn't given an opportunity. And so I had interviewed at other places, a few other places, but I really wasn't interested in moving my family to a community that I didn't think that we would live here long term if I wasn't the head basketball coach. So I decided not to continue to put my name in the hat for other head coaching opportunities, which they did help me with the interview process, learning and growing about what I needed to do. So I ultimately decided to come back and coach under Jeff Holloway. And it was funny because I didn't want to be his varsity assistant. I wanted to be JV and practice separately because it wasn't him. It was just me. Like, I want to learn and grow. And I was mad at Avon, right? So I had to get over myself. I had to get over that and mature. So I think that was a big thing for me, going every day to a school that I knew that was never going to give me an opportunity. And this is what I wanted to do as a career goal, right? And I knew that I could do it. And so first year JV coach, I grew a better relationship with Jeff Holloway. He's a great man. He's a good coach. So then the next year, he goes, hey, I need you as my varsity assistant. I want you to run the offense. I'm going to let you be the O coordinator. You call and do everything. Baseline, out of bounds, sideline, out of bounds. Be my O coordinator. All right, I got you. It's just funny that it works out. That was the first sectional championship that they had won in 28 years.
Wow.
And so, we beat Plainfield at Brownsburg. And then, we won the sectional championship, and it's awesome. And so just that experience, I think that ultimately led as a springboard. Because, when you're putting your name in the hat, regardless of whatever it is, and you've had some success, it's easy to say, hey, we won sectional last year, blah, blah, blah. And I think that did help me, even getting and securing this job. But that adversity still, like, I still have a chip on my shoulder now. Like, okay, we had a limited amount of success last year. We still went out in the first round against Richmond. We fought like hell, but we still lost.
Right.
Yes, was 13 of the last 15 years, we've had a losing record at Greenfield-Central. Mike Lewis did some great things. Some other coaches have done some awesome things. We were still 500 last year. That's tough, right? And this year, quite honestly, I don't know how many games we're going to win, but we're trying to build that standard. The standard is the standard. This is who we are. We talked about that already. When you play or watch Greenfield-Central boys basketball program, this is what you should know to expect. So for me, I'm trying not to put pressure on myself, but building off that adversity that always lights my fire. That is who I am, and this is who I'm always going to be. I don't know how to do it any other way. But then also just being able to get the kids to buy in and do the things that we need them to do, knowing that we may not be successful win-loss column this year until we get some of these kids ready to go in new spots. We have kids that normally shouldn't play in a 7:30 game. They're going to play at 7:30 tonight. They're sophomores, or heck, they're freshmen. And so now we're trying to get kids to do what we want them to do and do a hodgepodge of seniors here, we got some juniors here, we got some freshmen, and then figuring out who we are, especially during this pandemic. Our GC Juice program, which we started, which has been awesome. We have our 2nd grade, our 6th grade, our 7th grade, our freshman team, and 3 guys JV varsity all quarantined. It's insane.
Wow.
15 of the 33 kids in our program cannot participate tonight. That's crazy for a varsity at the varsity level. It is what it is. But no excuses. That's who we are.
Absolutely, and I love that. And I think that's where you leave it. Is kind of this is who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Give or take any no matter what time of day, no matter who we're playing against. That kind of leads me into kind of what my coaching philosophy is. And when I say back to teaching these kids not just about the game, but also teach them to become better young men. Or I always told myself I want to be that guy that after they finish school, whether that's high school or graduated, I wanted that guy that they call asking to help them out in their job application, or to be a part of something that they're in their community, whatever it is, because that means you left an impact on it. So, and I think that goes back to mine. You've got your juice. My four things. There's four things in my life that you can control day in and day out. Whether you're in school, whether you're at work, whether you're in college, whether you're teaching, whether you're coaching, and that's passion, enthusiasm, attitude, and effort. Mm-hmm. And I think day in and day out, if you can control those things and trying to get guys to buy in, here's the four things that you can control.
Right.
You can't control who steps on the basketball court.
Right.
You can't control that virus. You can't control the scoreboard stopping.
Right.
Whatever it is, but you control those four things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you show up and do those four things well, that requires that requires you not to even be good at the sport that you're playing. So the big thing about that I love is one, the accountability aspect, and two, or three, I guess, two, leaving the legacy, and three, being the person that you are no matter where you're at in life. And I think that's the great aspect of that. I guess kind of real quick to rewind, or to kind of get back into yourself a little bit and learn who you are. Now being in Greenfield and experiencing kind of the community and what we've got, whether that's stores, restaurants, whatever it is, you got a favorite place to go eat? You and the family love a specific spot?
We have two. So I have two boys. I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, Carter and Cole. They love the Mozzie Bites. So Mozzie's been big time in our house. Usually every Sunday, watching some football, let's get some Mozzies. They love the Mozzie's pizza. And then two, Leo's. Leo's have been a hit. The Kalashis, I'll probably go get a smoothie. It's kind of my game day thing, smoothies. I love the banana smoothie. But Leo's and Mozzie's are kind of our two local spots that they're tough to beat.
There you go. I love it. A lot of people, and this is based off of just the listeners. I'm in episode, you're going to be episode 24, I believe. But in the previous episodes, I always ask after the show to our listeners and to our viewers, what are some things you want to be asked? What are some things you want to know about the guest? And a weird question that actually, I can't believe how many people actually wanted to know this, was the guest's favorite flavor of ice cream. Okay. I don't know what it is about it, but okay. What's your go-to flavor of ice cream?
First of all, I'm kind of weird. I don't do a ton of sweets.
I know. I don't either.
I don't know why. I guess it is what it is, but I guess I'd go chocolate. I mean, I'm pretty simple man. I mean, I don't do sweets. I don't eat a lot of snacks. We'll go chocolate. Now there is a spot, we vacation a lot in Myrtle Beach. There's a spot in Myrtle Beach, Potter's Ice Cream, whatever, and they have it's like a custard type.
Soft serve type of thing?
It is fire. It's good. So give me chocolate, a Garden City, South Carolina ice cream. I'm set.
No, we were. It's kind of funny you say that because I had a lady on the other day. She's with 93.1 WIBC, with the radio station in Indianapolis, and she's from Hancock County. She goes, "What?" She put me on the spot. She goes, "What does Hancock County need?" Mm-hmm. I said, "I don't know about you, but there's just something about being on vacation down by the beach,
right.
And you go to those local ice cream shops, and they just scoop a big old, 2 scoops on a cone. It's oh my gosh!" I said, "That's what I want." Then I look at it. Fortville's got one. Okay. I forget what it's called, Lily's or something like that. They've got a soft serve ice cream place, and then in Knightstown, where I'm at now, they've got one. So anybody want to start their own little hand-served ice cream shop, I think it would do well. A couple more questions. Last, I guess, kind of question, but more on the serious side. Got bad into not asking it in previous episodes, but for people in the younger generation, or even those maybe struggling for their next step in life, if you had any advice, whether it's looking back on advice that you were given or anything that you have went through adversity-wise, but if you could give advice to any specific person out there, what would maybe that advice be that's trying to take that next step?
Right. Well, I'm big on Joshua Metcalf. I've read several of his books. He's the man. He talks about pound the stone, and I know it's kind of become overkill now, but you just never know when you're going to break through. Like you don't pound a stone, and that stone doesn't break on the first or second, or what it may be the 1,000th try. But if you give up 999, then it's over. So pound the stone. You never know when you're going to break through. So I guess be persistent in what you want to do. And, I think that I'm an example of that. Like, it could have been very easy for me to just be at Avon and be comfortable right now and not grow as a coach and grow as a man and grow as a person, of just being a varsity assistant and still be there. And that would be okay. That'd be a good life. But I never would have been happy with myself looking back if I didn't put myself out there and have an opportunity at Greenfield. And hopefully it works out here.
Right.
But it's still I think being persistent and never giving up in anything that you do is something that I want to instill in my own kids and I want to instill in our basketball players. We may be down 6 at the end of the first quarter. What are we going to do? Hang our heads and just quit? You may not get the job that you want. Your girlfriend may break up with you. There's a lot of things that are going to happen in your life. But if you continue to pound the stone and you just be you and be happy with you, you'll never regret giving your best.
That's a first, gentlemen and ladies. That's a first.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. I don't know why I stopped asking that question, because I think it does. And I've got a lot of I think now with my brother and sister being seniors, and obviously you, Coach Carson, I've got a lot of people in the high school that kind of watch and listen and follow the show a little bit. And I love that because I want to make an impact on that generation. But I know I went through a lot of, 2 years ago, I went through some stuff in life with, myself and family. And, I wish I would have had that somebody that gave me that advice that I could keep in my head and keep in my mind to push me through that.
Right.
But there was a mentor in the business world, a guy by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk, who actually I got an opportunity to almost pull some business strings with.
Okay.
And ended up not going that route just because it was the right thing to do. But Gary had told me one thing. He goes, there's two things I want you to work on. He goes, not caring what people think about you, continuing to be your genuine person, and if someone tells you no because it's something you're passionate about,
right,
you go get it.
Right.
And I love that because this podcast is something I'm passionate about. I love learning about people in the community because I think being in the community is what makes the world go around.
Right.
And it even starts with baseball and basketball coaches to the mayor to other leaders to business owners. There's a big circle, and that's what I'm trying to get the listeners to understand. By even just shopping local businesses,
right,
you put money in those businesses' pockets. So when you shop local businesses, you put money in those businesses' pockets. Those businesses can then go give to not-for-profits, or those businesses can give to sports organizations, sports teams,
right,
for the youth.
Right.
So then when they get older, they can understand that whole circle of life in the community as well. So I love it. And I really do appreciate that. So going back, last question before I let you go. It's game day. Ready to take on the new season. It's going to be a little bit different. The fans are not going to be there. To kind of let the listeners and people in the community know, how can they watch the game if it's possible, and kind of what are some of the COVID guidelines to help people so they don't just show up and get mad because they can't buy tickets.
Right.
So if you give us a little bit of information on that.
It's parents and immediate family only, so every player gets 4 tickets for immediate family. Every home game will be live streamed. It'll be on YouTube. All you gotta do is search for Greenfield Athletics and you'll find it. You can watch it live, have a beer if you want to, whatever beverage is your preference, and sitting home and root for the Cougars still. So, it is unfortunate. I had Jake Cochran in here. I had Brady Mundell, and they were like, hey, can I get a ticket? Can I get a ticket? I'm like, well, I don't think so, but let me double check for you. And it's unfortunate. It's no. I wish that we could have a packed house because that's what it's all about. When we host the county rivals and everybody's packed and you start to see it from halftime of the middle school game of more and more people coming, that's high school sports, and it is incredibly unfortunate, and hopefully we can get rid of this crap soon, but it is what it is right now. So 4 immediate family tickets only per player, and then at every home game, I know for a fact, and hopefully our road games too, they'll be live streamed on YouTube. There you go. Well, I appreciate that. Everybody, a little bit of a wrap. If you wouldn't mind, what can they one more time expect from the Cougars this season? I know you guys lost 4 or 5 guys last year. Right. Starters, a lot of points. I think you said close to 85% of the scoring. But you got a lot of young kids that followed those steps and watched those guys grow as basketball players the last couple of years. So what can they expect by watching the Cougars on TV this year? Right. Well, starting tonight and hopefully the next 23 games we get those in, knock on wood somewhere. But like you talked about, we lost 5 seniors, we lost 4 starters, 85% of our scoring. But they did set that standard. The standard is the standard. This is who we are. So we're going to play hard. We're going to play smart. We're going to play together. We're going to do the things that we need to do. Now, I don't know if that means that we're going to win 20 games or 2 games. Hopefully the latter. But I don't know how talented we are. I talked about this already, and this is not me just blowing smoke. Like, we're undersized. We're undermanned. Basketball-wise, you roll out the balls at LA Fitness against another county school. We don't win very many games. But we're going to play a 1-2-2 back to a 3-2. That's kind of my MO, being active defensively and hoping to rebound. And then offensively, we're going to run chin. We're going to run some quick hitters for some guys that we know that we can shoot. And the goal's always going to be the same, our identity, drive-away threes and paint touches. But above all else, none of that crap matters. Anything that I say doesn't matter if I can't get our kids to play hard. And I do think that our community identifies with, showing up and every team, every group likes to watch. Hey, they just play hard. Ball on the ground, I dive for it, I ask questions later. Shot goes up, I check out. We do the little things. We talk, we communicate. That's our identity. That's what I think that the community and the Greenfield way has that's us, hardworking, blue collar, let's go, let's play, tip up against a lot of these, other people that we don't expect, and we are going to be the underdog. So I like that aspect. I'm trying to get our kids to play with a little bit of chip, unlock their greatness, unlock their potential. They don't know how good they can be. I don't know if we'll have that ready to go in November, but certainly I would hope by March we're a team that nobody wants to play because we just play so daggone hard. So I tell our kids all the time, by 9 p.m. when the game's over, empty your bucket. Give me everything you got, because I'm going to give you everything that I got. Empty your bucket every single night and we'll be just fine.
I love it. Was that the bell for school?
Well, 8:10 bell, so we let them in early, and then so that they can get in the classrooms, and then 8:30 we officially start.
Well, I just want to ask, because I have another question. I really want to ask this question because I always looked up to Jared Manning for him having an awesome shoe game.
Right.
I did. I loved it. And I'm saying I love tennis shoes. I've got all types of tennis shoes. I'm not into the Jordan stuff because I can't pull it off. I look completely stupid, especially with my glasses.
Right.
Who would you say's got the best shoe game, you or Jared Manning?
I'll be honest with you, Jason Carey.
Really?
Jason Carey has.
Now that you say that, I have seen him wear Jordans around before.
He has some exclusive. He has some nice. It makes me try to step my game up. Like, ooh, I got to get these. I know he doesn't have these, but he's hard to beat. So he's the boss man, and his shoe game is awesome.
It's up there.
And I have a problem too. That is one thing Jessica's like, you're just gonna buy another pair of shoes. You know, she gets Amazon package. I get something from StockX or Nike.com. So I do love it. And I told Coach Mullins and Coach Johnson and Coach Bolden, I said, hey, if I gotta wear a mask, I'm wearing J's. So if Coach James and Ben Davis and Perry Meredith can wear cowboy boots, I'm wearing Jordans.
You're wearing J's.
So all year, this year, every game, I'm gonna rock khakis still with a button up, but I'm rocking J's.
You want a long sleeve shirt underneath of it again?
That's usually my go-to. I don't know what it is, but yeah, and I gotta get my pin in my ear.
I love it.
That's my swag. I don't know if you want to call it that or not, but that's me. Yeah, that's my
drip.
drip.
Call it the drip.
Yep, that's
I love
me.
that. I was talking Carson. I had Carson and Caroline on the show just because I was kind of BSing around with them, and I told them I'd get them on. I promised them I'd get them on before they graduated. And Carson's got these Air Force Ones that are like all different colors and whatnot. And, I asked the two of them, who's got the best shoe game? Carson goes, of course, me. I mean, come on. He goes, it's part of the drip.
Yes,
So,
I like it.
would you say there's one kid on the team that's got the most style?
Man, I don't know if you want to call it style or not, but Adam Lester, you just never know what kind of outfit he's going to show up in. Pink Birkenstocks, tight leather pants, like, I don't know, we call him Jack Harlow because he kind of looks like the rapper Jack Harlow, but I don't know if you call it swag, drip, whatever. He'd get made fun of when I was in high school in 01, but now that's a cool thing to do, so we'll roll with it.
That's cool. Speaking of Jack Harlow, I did get a little clip of somebody the other day with a little shoot around going on. Who's your favorite artist?
Well, it depends on the week. I do like Harlow right now, so I got to be all clean versions, but I do think that's a big piece. Like when we have practice,
100%.
I got a speaker in here. We play music, instrumentals when the people come. But that just gets the kids, like we talk about love language, what gets them going, what gets them excited. Like once I put on some tunes, and then eventually now they're like, hey, can you add? And then I listen to it, I'm like, no, I cannot add that. That. Not even the clean version is appropriate, my guy. But I like Harlow, I like Wayne, I like Jay-Z. So I like some of the older stuff, Kanye. But I guess the contemporary, I like Jack Harlow.
Right on. I like the Tyler Hero song.
Oh, it's fire.
That's fire. I just banging that this morning.
It's fire. It gets you going.
And that's the thing too, is I think people don't understand is, and growing up, mom and dad, make sure it's clean, don't make sure, I don't want to hear none of this cussing stuff. It's not necessarily that, but it's just the vibrations of the music that kind of give you a sense of get up and go and fire and give you something in your gut that says, hey, let's go make that happen.
Oh, I 100% agree. The beat and everything about it, I like it to be loud. I like it to be like a game where they have to think and they have to concentrate and there's a lot going on. I think that's all a big part of it. But when you pull up, you come to our practice, if you're ever able to without this pandemic crap, it's blaring. And I think that's part of it. Learned that from the college level, but yeah, that's it. And then the kids, you see like a song comes on and they're like, okay, and now they play better defense and now they play a little bit harder and then they play with juice. So that's just kind of our whole culture. That's who we are.
Well, Coach, I do appreciate that, man. And if we had more time, I could sit here and talk all day. This won't be the last time I get you on. Promise you that. If there's anything we can do for you, anything I can do for you, let us know. I love what you're doing with the program. Plus, alma mater here at Greenfield. Wasn't much of a basketball player, I told him. And I think I might have set the state record, or even I know for a fact I set it a school record for most turnovers in a game. So that's something I left my legacy here.
It's never good.
But I should probably never step on the basketball court again. So, well, appreciate everybody tuning in, Coach. Appreciate you. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Can't wait to watch it. So don't forget you can watch the games on YouTube. Just type in Greenfield-Central Athletics. I think Mr. Bill McKenna probably is going to be running that, getting that well. Shout out Mr. McKenna for all the hard work you do for the athletics programs on the TV and radio side, along with the other programs you got going on. Guys, appreciate everybody tuning in again today. Again, shout out to Remax Realty Group for the studios and also the Hope House for the show sponsoring of the show. Always remember that you can make a difference, Hancock County. We'll catch you next time. Go Cougars. Take care.